What's up, my YouTube family? Hola, mi gente. Today I'm here with another video. As you can see, I look like I'm still tired and I want to go back to sleep. Apparently, early this morning, like around 9 or 8, they started doing some work on the side of my house, and it just woke me up. They were drilling, hammering, sawing stuff. I don't know. They're doing too much. Like, I thought there was somebody knocking on my door or something, but early this morning they started, and I think they barely stopped right now until 11 o'clock. And I don't know if they're gonna come back and do more, but I have a headache. I'm tired, and the crazy part of all of this, I still have to do my homework, and then later on today I have to, later on today I have to take a test. So yeah, I'm really tired. I have to do this homework right now, and this homework is not easy. But I have to read a whole chapter. No, I have to read a whole 7 pages, and then from there I have to go to chapter 7, and then read that too, and then answer the questions that follow. And when I read the 7 pages, I have to write an essay about those 7 pages that I read, basically. And yeah, so that's one thing I have to do today. I'm thinking about taking some medicine, like some Advil or something like that. It's gonna take away the headache or whatever. And then also I still have to do the laundry, to wash clothes, and I have to make some food for myself so I can eat. So hopefully I get this all done, and I just gonna follow me throughout the day, and watch everything I'm doing. Not everything, exactly everything, but y'all won't see me switch up from how I look right now and then how I look later and stuff like that. And basically, I'll just bring you along for everything. So yeah. Lately, I've been real proud of myself. I've been keeping up with the homework. I don't think I've ever missed one of my homeworks. And then I get 100 in every one of my homeworks. My tests, I've been passing all of them, and most of them are like high grades. I think the lowest I got was at 87, and then the test after that I got like a 90 something, 97 I think. And then we did like a little pop quiz or whatever, and then on that pop quiz I got like a 90 something. And basically what I'm taking right now is basically Bible theology, and it basically teaches me how to preach and stuff like that, and how to prepare a sermon, and be able to describe basically what I need to say in order fashion in order to connect with the audience, and have them understand what I'm preaching about, not just be talking just random stuff and stuff like that. And also another part of the class teaches us how to interpret the Bible in a correct form, and not in an incorrect form, so it won't turn into religious thoughts and stuff like that. So I've been taking this class for I think about 3 months. I think it's been 3 months. I think it's been like about 3 months I've been taking this class. So basically right now I'm just gonna start doing my homework, and recently the pop quiz that we had to take was basically we had to preach 10-minute preaching. The max was 10 minutes, and then we had to pick a certain topic, but the topics were the ones that the teacher picked out for us. So he picked out like about 5 topics, and then we had to preach off of one of those topics. And y'all guys, I was so nervous. I couldn't even, I was just nervous. Like my hands were shaking and stuff. And then I was like, oh my God. I wrote down my notes and stuff, of what I was going to preach about. And I was nervous the whole time, it caught us off guard. It wasn't like he told us days before. It was just like we came that day, and then all of a sudden that day he told us, what guys, we're gonna do something fun. And then he decided to do that, and I think I was like the 4th person to preach, and I turned out getting the highest score out of everybody, which was dope. Um, that day there was only like about let me see, 5 people in that class. I guess because it was super cold that day, so some people decided not to come, or they were tired or whatever. The whole point of this class is that we get more better at preaching and stuff like that. And also the thing is, we could only miss 3 days. After we miss 3 days, I think you're kind of like booted out the class, and you have to wait until the next semester to start taking it over again. And the reason why I took this class, well, I wanted to get closer. Like one day I was just sitting there, and I was like, man, I want to go to church today, but they don't have nothing today. And then I remember they were having baptism classes, and I asked my brother, and I was like, are y'all still having those baptism classes or whatever? And he was like, no, we're not having them anymore. Even though I already been baptized, sometimes it's good to learn more of why you got baptized and understand why you are baptized in the first place and stuff like that. So I got to talking with Joe, and then he was like, well, we don't have, baptism classes, but today we are starting our, Bible theology classes. I was like, oh, okay. And, I was never planning to join this class in the get-go because he made announcements about it. But I was kind of like, whatever. But, that day I just, it was just an instant, I wanted to get closer to God. So I was like, you know what, instantly I decided to go ahead and, sign up for the classes. I asked them, what do I need? What fees do I have to pay? And he was like, well, right now what we're going to do is you have to bring a notebook, a Bible, of course, because you're going to have to read some stuff off the Bible. And then you have to pay $10 for your book. This is my book right here. He made it cheaper for us due to the fact he printed out the pages of the book instead of actually selling us the book, because this right here is 2 books in one, and he just put it in a binder. So he basically charges for the print, for the ink. There you go. So I think that's a great blessing for people that maybe can't afford it or whatever. And so yeah, he basically I think each book was like almost $30, so it would have came out to like $60 if he would have made us pay for the books. But instead, he just did this instead, which I think is very generous of him, because a lot of institutes don't do that for you. They're not gonna print out stuff for you, or they're just gonna make you pay for that, pay for the books, because this right here in itself takes a lot of work to print out a book that's like probably like 50 pages long, or probably longer than that. It takes a lot of work, and having to make sure you're printing it the right way and stuff like that. So he did that for us, and the only thing he asked for us is at the end of the class, if we want to give a donation out of our own hearts, we could go ahead and donate him some kind of money for his services or whatever. He doesn't charge for the class, which is nice, because you know, biblical theology, you're gonna have to pay money. So it's good that he's offering these classes. So it's dope. This class has been helping me a lot with my also speech and stuff like that. So that's a good plus. I'm a very introverted person. If you know me, I get very awkward and just kind of like, if you see my stuttering video about me stuttering while pregnancy, you understand that I, sometimes trip over my words and stuff like that. So this class kind of helps me develop my speech and stuff like that. I take speech classes back in high school, and then I also preached before. I preached ever since I was probably 10 years old or something like that. I used to preach in the children's services that they had in the other church I used to assist when I was a little kid. They used to have children's services, and then they would have the kids preach, and then everything was led by children. They would minister the service and preach, pick up the offering, pray. All of that was done by kids, and it was good. We got to experience what it is for when we grow up. We will be ready and prepared and not be nervous. I notice now that many kids are more scared to preach than when I was, like a lot of youth too. They're scared to preach than when I was young. When I was young, the youth teacher would just come up to you and be like, okay, you're gonna preach for the youth service, and we'll be like, okay, and then we'll prepare ourselves or whatever to preach. But I feel like it's because we've been basically taught ever since we were little that you're gonna preach. So it's basically preparing us for it. So now it's just more working on it and understanding how to preach and stuff like that. So it's dope. So it's cool. What's up, you guys? I'm about to go to class right now. I'm about to head that way. Eli and Zeke. No, don't do that. So we're about to go to class, and I'm gonna go to class. I'm gonna drop them off with their grandparents. But we just found out that we are not gonna have to take the exam today. We're gonna take it for the next class. We're just gonna do a repass and basically study for the test and preparations for next class. So I just got the text message, so I don't have to worry about taking the test today, but I'm gonna have to take a test eventually, so that's it.
Hey, all those feelings of depression and doubt, you gotta tell them go away. You gotta say get out the way and let them know, hey,